Hello, welcome back to my channel, and if this is your first time stopping by, I'm Lady Pavo, also known as Luna Lamonte, and today I'm outside, I'm grilling, and I'm ready to tell you guys another spooky story time. So this took place in a small city called Beacon, located in Dutchess County, New York. I was 17 at the time, and for my Beaconites out there, I was on Main Street right across the street from Mr. V's Deli, and again, I was like 17, so this is years ago. And at this time, Mr. V's Deli was right next to like a karate studio. I was across the street from there, and I remember I was walking to work. It was about like 2 weeks before the Spirit of Beacon Day parade, because that year we were actually, like me and in my job, we were actually going to be participating in the parade. We're actually going to walk the parade, because at the time in high school, throughout my whole high school career, I worked at a glass blowing studio called Hudson Beach Glass. You guys should go check it out. It's a beautiful, beautiful store. They make handmade glass pieces and whatnot. So yeah, I was heading to work. It was a Saturday, and I remember this because Beacon was known for having like a lot of tourists around like the weekends. Like we would have so many tourists between like Saturdays and Sundays. It would be super busy. People from the city would come, and they would just come to see Dia. There was like this art museum that was right by Long Dock and the riverfront and like the train station. And then there was also so many mom and pop like art galleries, and like it was such a beautiful city for like coming to kind of just see like art really, and you know, fashion. There's also a lot of boutiques, and then like really unique mom and pop stores that have like really dope antiques and whatnot. So we would get a lot of tourists that would come just to see like the attractions, just to see like the wonderful sculptures, and it was just such a beautiful city. So I remember I had my headphones in, I was walking to work, and I would keep my headphones so loud that I couldn't even hear anybody. I know this is not safe, but this is what I would do. I knew Beacon was a safe city from around the time I grew up, because at the time I never really got bothered. But it was, you know, bright as day. It was probably like 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and I'm walking to work on Main Street. And I remember every time I would walk, I would kind of just like look at the ground, and I was just in my own little world, bumping to my music. And I just remember looking at my feet, and I come to a complete stop because somebody is standing in front of me and they would not move. And I remember specifically walking towards the edge of the sidewalk, because there were so many tourists kind of just walking, you know, like in groups together. I guess going down Main Street, there's like a few bars and whatnot. So I remember they're like walking, talking, laughing, just in their own world. And I remember I came to this complete stop because this person would not move. And I remember the first thing that I glimpsed at was their shoes. And I remember their shoes looked like these old black beat up like dress shoes that kind of looked like they were like in mud or like dirt or something like that. So I remember my eyes traveled up from the feet to the head of this person that would not move out the way. And to my surprise, you know, the whole outfit of this person was covered in like this dirt like residue, and the pants were like old and really dated, beat up, kind of like they were ripped up. The shirt was ripped up. Like they had like a white, not a white, they had like it was all black. They were wearing all black. They had like a black dress button down shirt that had like missing buttons, dirt all over him, like mud, kind of like murky looking brown residue. And it was like faint black, like black clothes that probably was washed too many times, and was like the fabric was just very dated, very old, very faded at that, almost kind of like gray. And I remember I make eye contact with this person, and it, I kid you not, looked like a decayed version, zombified version of like a grandfather of mine. And I remember this entity, or this person, was just staring at me. And I just remember jumping back and screaming, because I've never seen anything with like palish greenish skin that was like cuts on their face and just looking very like a maggot could just fall out of their face. It was just such a crazy thing I was seeing in front of me. I didn't even know how to put it into words, but the first thing I did was I started screaming. And I remember all the tourists that were walking around me were like trying not to be nosy, but they were like looking at me like, what is wrong with this girl? Now this to me was not a spirit, because as you can see in my earlier episodes, I've seen ghosts and whatnot. But this was like a physical person, and it just looked very zombified, very decayed, and it was very creepy. And I just remember nobody else saw it, because if anybody else saw what I was seeing, they would have definitely had some type of reaction, or, you know, would have at least looked at the direction that this entity was in. It was standing right in front of me, but everybody was just like kind of looking at me like, okay, she's bugging out. So anyway, time always feels like it's moving super slow when I go through these situations. I don't know if it's like I'm in a different dimension, a different parallel universe, or a different paradigm. I'm not sure. But whenever I experience something creepy, it always seems like time just sort of freezes. So I remember like I just started picking up the pace and tried to get far, far away from this entity. But I kept feeling like this chilling feeling that like something was watching me. And so I crossed the street, and at this point I'm right next to like this bridal, it's like a bridal boutique shop where women can go get like dresses and gowns and whatnot. It's been there for many, many years. And I'm walking towards Key Food to get towards my job, Hudson Beach Glass, which is at the end of Main Street. So I'm walking, and something tells me turn around. So I do. I don't know why I did, but I did. I turned around, and to my surprise, the entity that I saw was still standing in the same exact place I saw it, but this time was just watching me walk away. And you guys, I don't know what the hell that's called, excuse my French, but I really don't. I don't know if zombie sightings is even a thing. I don't know what to call it, what to put the category in it, but the only thing that I could describe this being as was like a zombified version of a grandfather of mine. It's so weird why it kind of would have resembled like an ancestor of mine or a relative of mine, but that's the closest thing I could compare it to. And its skin being all pale and greenish and oozing, and had like cuts, and clothes was all dirty. It just looked like something that crawled out of a grave, like something you would have saw in a Thriller video or something. But yeah, so that is my story time about what I saw heading to work, minding my own business. I'm gonna call this a zombie man because I don't know what else to call it, you guys. But that was not the first time that was the first time, but that was not the only time I encountered some type of zombified entity. I might actually stop this video and record a second video about my other encounter that I had in broad daylight. That happened in a different city, but it's very similar and not too far away from when I had this actual encounter. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this story time. If you ever encounter something like this, please drop a zombie emoji down below. Please stay safe in these spiritual streets and boulevards. I look forward to connecting with you. We are divinely connected. Until next time, peace, peace, peace.